Hi, are you sick and tired of paying hundreds of dollars a month for cable or dish? GNR TV is your answer. These guys have an incredible 100% legal product that is a cord cutter's dream. For as low as $25 a month, you will get over 400 HD channels, including all major sports packages, pay-per-views, premium movies, and entertainment. To get started, all you need is a streaming device, such as an Amazon Fire Stick, internet, and a desire to save a ton of cash. No contracts, no credit checks, no hidden fees. I myself have been a subscriber, and I must say this service is amazing. To learn more, search GNR TV on Facebook or Instagram, and I will also be posting a link on my pages to check out on my podcast website. Lastly, for first-time subscribers, use promo code SIRS30 to save $5 for your first month. GNR TV, streaming done right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the Sick Twisted Minds at Sacrificial Pawn Productions brings you a new style of horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another awesome episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. Today I have with me Amber Dawn Fox. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm glad you came on the podcast, as we were just discussing a little while ago. And
Yeah.
I'll just bring
Well,
it
thank
right.
you for having me.
Oh, anytime, anytime. I seen you worked with somebody who I had on a guest last week, Chase Dudley. How was that working with him?
Working with Chase Dudley was awesome. So I worked with him back in September of last year and filmed Beasts of the Field.
Mm-hmm.
I played the lead role of Clarissa in the film, and we filmed in the woods in Kentucky on location, which was a lot of fun, except for it rained the entire time we were there. I don't know if he talked about that at all, but we were definitely in the elements.
I can't remember. I think we discussed it very briefly.
Yeah.
I know he definitely brought this movie up, and it's yeah, because I had my other friend on here with me, and we did discuss this movie briefly.
Okay.
But yeah, I watched the trailer for it. I was like, this looks really interesting. I really have to get into this movie.
Yeah, it's a horror thriller, and it was a lot of fun to film.
That's cool. I might as well get the one question out of the way that everybody asks, because I did watch one of your interviews. How was it working? I don't care about Norman. How was it working on The Walking Dead?
Well, that is the number one question, is about Norman Reedus.
Is that, okay, real quick, is that from females or is that from everybody?
Mostly females, but there have been a few.
I figured.
It's either what was Andrew Lincoln like or what was Norman Reedus like, is usually the top two questions.
I just wonder, how was it just being on the show in general?
Oh, it was awesome. I had been watching the show since day one, so I was a fan going into season 5, which was the season I was on. And I played Officer Bello, but just being on set of a show that you enjoy watching is a whole different experience than working on another show. And everyone was down to earth. Everyone was great to work with on that show, which, you know, you're not sure working on with such big stars, and that show is so huge, what you're going to walk into. But they were all, like, super cool people.
Oh, that makes the experience even better then. Now, how did you get on that show?
So I had worked with the casting company on a few different shows. I started out in the industry working as like a background extra.
Okay.
And the same company that filmed a couple of the shows I had worked on before also casts extras for Walking Dead. So I had actually submitted to one of their feature films that they were filming down in Atlanta. And I got a text message back like 2 weeks later after I submitted, and they said, you know, that they had gotten my submission for the movie, but I was a perfect fit for this featured police officer in Walking Dead, and they wanted to know if I would, you know, want the director to have me as a choice, because he had to go through and do like what they call a picture pick. Because Officer Bello didn't have any lines, there wasn't really an audition, but they had to look at a bunch of different pictures and, you know, pick who they wanted, and resumes and all that good stuff.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Excuse me. I see you've been in quite a few films. Do you have a favorite role that you've done so far?
Ooh, that is a hard one. I've been really lucky to get to work with a lot of great, you know, especially independent directors and filmmakers. Like I said, I started out working as an extra, and then Walking Dead was a featured, what they call it, a featured extra, because she had a name and, you know, there were close-ups. But then I started getting into the speaking roles. So I really think I'd have to say between The Haunting of 4 Points and the upcoming Beasts of the Field, those were two of my favorites.
Okay.
They were lead roles, so with lead roles you get to do a lot more character development.
Which I know has to be so much more fun, but either way, that's still
I
really
love being
awesome.
a part of any project, but you know, the bigger the role, the more you create the character, really.
So what got you into what got you into horror?
I've always been a fan of horror as far as watching it, but after Walking Dead, it kind of became my niche, I guess, because those directors are the ones that contacted me more. They saw me on Walking Dead, so it kind of was an easy transition from doing Walking Dead, I think, to become part of the indie horror community.
That's cool. I actually made really good friends with a guy. His name is Sam Mason. And he, I emailed you his trailer. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it or not earlier.
I did get a chance, yes. I got the email right before we hopped on here. It was really good. I liked it.
Yeah, he his production company is called Sacrificial Pawn Productions. It just became official this year as far as, you know, the LLC and all that good stuff with that.
Right.
And then the movie Normal Terror, if all goes good with the the finances and everything, that should be out at the end of sometime in October. I think he wants to have it out around Halloween. And then he has a bunch of other projects, so I'm gonna talk to him and tell him about you, because indie horror. I appreciate it. Definitely. I try to. That's one thing I really try to do. Like when I have horror fans, especially when they're into the acting and all that, I'm like, I try to link everybody together one way or another, just to keep it going.
Well, horror is definitely one of the funnest genres to film.
I bet it is.
Especially with all the special effects and all that good stuff.
Oh, special effects. I love them.
Yes.
I can't.
There's going to be plenty on Beasts of the Field.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
He actually did tell us that too. Which is great, because I don't hate CGI. I just feel like it can be overused.
Right.
Versus
I agree.
Special effects. I don't think you can ever overuse special effects.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
And I like them so much. I don't know much about CGI. I don't know much about special effects as far as the work that goes into it, but I know with special effects, it amazes me that, say, somebody could make a piece, like, say, a face piece or something, take 40 hours to make that just for a 10-minute scene, and then that's it.
Right, exactly.
And just, that always amazes me with that.
It's funny, in the whole film industry in general, how much goes into one short scene. Like, for example, the Walking Dead scene, the big scene I was in season 5, we filmed for 2 days straight, like 12 to 14 hours a day, just for like 4 minutes of film on the episode.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome, though.
Now, how hard is it? Because I have a bad memory, and I'm always like, if I was ever in like a indie horror film, if I got the chance to do that, how hard is it to remember your roles, your lines?
I've always actually been good at memorization, so for me, it's not too bad. I have to spend. I mean, it depends on the role, but lead roles, I spend weeks or months learning the lines.
Okay.
Really, but for smaller roles, I usually try to memorize them within the week we're filming.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I'm trying to think what I want to ask next. I had something on the tip of my tongue. It went away. Oh, do you write too? Are you into writing too? As far as
I don't. That is one thing that I hope to try out later.
Okay.
The acting thing's going really good for me right now, so I'm really focused on the acting. But a lot of people ask me, after acting slows down, is there anything else you'd want to do? And writing is actually the one thing that I would want to do behind the scenes. I used to write like short stories and stuff like that when I was younger, but nothing published or anything like that.
Okay. I just meant like a script or something. It would be fun. I want to eventually. But
it would be.
I don't know. I
feel
like
seeing it come to life would be really cool.
Yeah, it would be amazing. Which, again, back to the whole Normal Terror thing, it's awesome because, like, I met him last year when I started this podcast. I seen how he was working on his movie little by little and just watching how both of us grew within a year. Mm-hmm. And then just a lot of people we've been networking with and connecting to each other. So I try to just keep, like I said with you, I'm going to tell him about you soon as we're done with this interview.
Thank
and
you. Yeah,
go from there. Oh, no problem.
Yeah, his trailer was good. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those trailers that it keeps you guessing toward the end, like what's going to happen and what is this movie all about. It was really cool.
Well, I can kind of give you the plot-ish. It's I know it's a real crazy. That trailer was crazy, but
yeah.
Basically, I'm trying to think of how he worded this. It's in the beginning of my podcast where he says, like he does the intro, but basically he's a father. He works his 9-to-5 job. He takes care of his son. And then, like, you know how sometimes you get mad and you have, like, violent urges in your mind, but you don't act them out? Well, he does, as you see in the trailer. And
definitely.
Murders.
Definitely saw some of that. That was
cool. That's pretty much the basis of that movie to an extent. As far as what I can give away, I should say.
Gotcha.
But it's...
Yeah, there's always so much you can't say.
I know. I had him on quite a few times, and, like, the first time I had him on, he sent me a list of, like, a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the movie, and it was so hard to, like, it's still to this day, well, now I forgot about it too, but still to this day, it's kind of hard to, like, not slip up and say something like, okay, well, this and this is going to happen, but I wouldn't want to do that and ruin it, but it's just... That
definitely happens to me too, especially when I have multiple projects going on. It's like, you can say this about this one, but you can't say this, and you can't say this. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Now, have you ever done any horror conventions?
I have done quite a few Comic-Cons. There was one or two that were horror-based, but most of the ones I do are general Comic-Cons, and that happened because of The Walking Dead. I started getting invited back in 2015.
Okay.
And I've been doing more filming here lately than I have conventions, but I do have one in May. They're doing like a Walking Dead charity bash, and it's all Walking Dead guests down in Sonoya.
That's
over
awesome.
Where they film at, so I'll be there in May.
That's cool. How do you like those cons?
Oh, I love them. They're so much fun. Not only getting to meet the fans, because Walking Dead fans are incredible. They started following me and all the projects I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. So it's a good place for me to also, promote my upcoming projects as well as Walking Dead. But also I really enjoy it because there's a lot of cool people I get to meet. Some of the other actors or the bigger actors that get invited to the same conventions. It's been really cool.
Yeah, I love going to those too. They're so fun. I go to the horror ones. I'll go to the Comic-Cons here and there too, but I'll go to the horror ones a lot. There's one I go to every year. I've been going for like the past 5 or 6 years called ScareCon.
Oh yeah, heard of it, yes.
Such a fun con. It's smaller than it's small, kind of, but it's still great. Like this past year in October we went, and I brought the podcast out there for the first time, and it was fun.
Oh, nice.
So that's gonna be my thing with that, is bringing it out there and hopefully getting people on the interview and just, growing more.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy them, even the ones that are more smaller than, like Wizard World or Walker Stalker. Those would be the big ones, but I get invited to more of the smaller ones, like the one you mentioned. I actually like those because it's not as crowded, and you get to spend more time with the people you go to meet. Where you go to, like, Wizard World, and it's like you're in and out of the line of whoever you're going to meet real fast.
It is. Trust me, I know because I went to the only other horror con I've been to was Monster Mania out in New Jersey. I went to that twice, and that con is
huge. Ain't it?
It's huge. It's busy, and you don't get the I'm not gonna say you don't get to talk to the actors at all because you do, but not like Scarecon. You can go there because I've done it. I've just done it this past year. Actually, go there, you get your autograph, you talk to them, and you can go back and talk to them later on, hang out with them if no one's in line. But those other big cons, you don't have that chance.
Yeah, they won't even let you at some of those.
Yeah,
they won't even let you get in line more than once.
It's crazy though. I really enjoy it. I actually got to be on a couple panels at that con too, which was fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So hopefully that can continue. It'd be cool to see you at a Scarecon one of these days.
Yeah, that's one I have not been to, so I would definitely like to go out to that one.
Do you have a favorite you've been to so far, or?
I wouldn't say. I'm trying to think. I'm really looking forward to the one in May just because it's all Walking Dead based, so it's kind of going to be like a reunion for all of us and that kind of thing. But I've enjoyed all of them that I've done, honestly.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't say I had a favorite.
That's fair. She wants to get invited to all these kinds again. That's very smart.
Can't be heard saying I have favorites.
That's smart. So okay, here's the one I ask my guests, every guest I have on here. What's one movie that you can remember as a kid that scared you?
Child's Play.
Child's Play.
I was so young when I watched those movies that they freaked me out. I guess because it was a doll. But it was actually cool too because later when I started doing the independent stuff, I got to work with Alex Vincent, who played Andy.
Oh, that's really cool.
In Child's Play. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But that was one of my favorite. Those and Friday the 13th were probably my two favorite series.
You see that?
Movies. Yeah.
I like that you said that. You must see my Jason in the background over here.
I do see it, yeah.
That's my favorite slasher of all time, hands down. And it's just, honestly, I think the biggest reason is just because back when we were kids, Friday the 13th, the USA Network, that was on all the time, the whole weekend.
Yes.
So I seen it the most out of every other,
That's
horror
true.
movie in general, but slashers and everything, I was like, yes, this is,
yeah,
it's awesome.
I started watching those movies I was probably like 7 or 8 when I started watching horror movies. So.
Yeah, I was young too. I want to say maybe between 5 and 7, and because I have older cousins and an older brother, they would watch them, and you always want to do what everybody else older is doing.
Exactly.
And it would always scare me, but I always came back for more.
I keep watching it again anyway.
And the one movie that scared me, I mentioned this before, but it was Creepshow Part 2, The Hitchhiker. As a kid, I have no idea. Like, I watched it recently. I find it hilarious now, but...
Right.
I was so scared I wouldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I had to have somebody walk me to the bathroom and, like, wait outside the bathroom for me. And then I'll go back and watch more scary movies. I find it funny with us horror fans. Like,
that's hilarious.
Something will scare you to the point of something like that, or to the point of tears with some people, but then you'll go back the very next night or the same night and watch more movies. And it's just...
when I was younger, just sleep with the light on after I watched them. It was fine.
Yep. I've been there. I've been there, too. So is that... have you been in any other genres of movies besides horror?
Yeah, a lot of mine are drama. I've done a couple of comedies, and Haunting of 4 Points is actually a horror comedy. And then I've done a few straight comedies. I've done here and there, but horror and thriller is probably the most often what I've been in.
So is that... I can say that's probably your favorite to be in then, or?
Oh yeah, I mean I love being on set anyway, but like I said, horror with the special effects and they're just a lot of fun.
Now, being in those kind of movies, like, for some crazy scenes in horror movies, does that put you do you have to be in like a different kind of mindset, like shut the world off, or can you just kind of turn it on and off?
Yeah, I definitely any role I do, I kind of shut everything off that's going on around me.
Okay.
And just totally get into the character.
That's cool. Does that take a while to do?
It depends. It depends on the scene and the character. If it's a character that's kind of similar to me, it's not as hard.
Okay.
But there's been some, especially Beasts of the Field, which one of those things I can't say too much about, but there was a lot of getting into a totally different character that had, some deep emotions. Let's put it that way.
Okay. When's that movie supposed to be out? I can't remember if I asked Chase that or not.
As far as I know, he doesn't have a release date yet, but he did say it was supposed to be out later this year.
Okay, that's good. That's really good because I seen the trailer. I was like, I have to see this movie. Where can I find it?
Yeah, he just announced they're releasing a second trailer next week for it. So
I'm gonna have to talk to him. I'm gonna have to talk to him very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm trying to think of what else I can say on here. I'm glad I got you. I'm really happy I got you on here. Let me see. Is there a role that you would like to have? Like, okay, better question. Out of all the horror movies you've seen, is there a role that you wish you could have had?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think it would have been, I know we've already mentioned Friday the 13th, but I think it would have been a lot of fun to be a part of one of those. I mean, there were so many of them.
Yep.
There would have been plenty of, I was a little bit young when they started filming them, of course, but any kind of those slashers.
That's
Friday the 13th, Halloween.
Yep.
Either one of those series would be a lot of fun to be a part of, I think.
I agree. I don't know what it is about slasher. I guess the gore and all that, but
yeah.
It's just, it grabs my attention. And I'd have to agree with you. If it would be anything, it would be a slasher type film, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, even Nightmare on Elm Street, or even Terrifier. I don't know if you've got a chance to see that or not yet.
I haven't seen that one yet, no.
It's really good, really gory.
I definitely need to.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
You have any questions for me?
No, I mean, I'm really looking forward to, I need to go through your website and look at some of your past interviews. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So I didn't even know you had interviewed Chase. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just got that episode back because my brother produces the stuff for me, and he just sent it to me today. So I'm going to put it out. If not for Monday, then definitely Wednesday.
Okay, cool. How long have you been doing the podcast for?
I started it last January. I started it. Excuse me. I put my first episode out last January 1st. I started recording, I think, that December, though, because I tried to record a few episodes. That way, if I can't record a certain weekend, I still have stuff to put out.
Right.
But, I started last year, and I was just like, it was kind of hard in a sense because I was like, I don't have a co-host, really, at the time.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to just sit here talking to myself on a podcast. I'm not saying it can't work, because I've heard people's podcasts and it works for them, but it wouldn't work for me.
Right.
So I started out with my brother and some good friends and all that, my cousins. They were on like my first few episodes, and it just kind of grew from there between Facebook and now Twitter, just getting people on, and now it's became so much freaking easier. Like I have quite a few people that I record with just about every weekend to help me out.
Nice.
So yeah, it's
very cool.
It's so freaking fun, and I really want to get more people that are involved in like indie horror films a lot more. The actors, producers, director, all that, because I try to reach out to them not more than the big names, but just I want to get those names out there more, because it's just cool. It's cool to be attached to something like that.
Yeah, we appreciate it, definitely.
Oh, I'll have you guys on any time. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
How did you get involved with Chase as far as with that movie?
We had been Facebook friends. It's funny, Facebook is huge for networking in the industry, as you probably know, but we had some mutual Facebook friends, so one of us added the other. I can't even remember now because it was a couple of years ago, and we had tried to work together quite a few times, but either his schedule wouldn't work out or my schedule wouldn't work out. And then Beasts of the Field came up, and I auditioned for the role of Clarissa. Mm-hmm. And originally, I wasn't able to get it because of, like I said, conflicts. He had stuff going on, I had stuff going on. But then something happened about a month before he started filming. I got a phone call from him because he had to recast the lead role.
Oh.
And so he called me to see and lo and behold, my schedule had changed. So it just worked out that way, that everything worked out, and so I was able to accept the role.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, because it was one of those, like, as an actor, they tell you to just, because we do so many auditions, and, 99% of the time we don't get the role, so they tell us to, like, do your best, audition, and then forget about it and move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. But that role was one of those that like stuck in my head that I couldn't stop thinking about because I had read the whole script and I was like, gosh, I really want to be a part of that. And then it happened, so it was really cool.
Oh, that's really cool. I really can't wait to see that movie. Hopefully you guys can work together more down the road too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, because talking to him last week, I'm just listening to him like this guy really, really enjoys what he's doing. He really likes the horror
he
genre,
does.
and
And his was one of the most well-ran indie sets that I've worked on.
that's good.
Yeah,
that's real good.
He knew what he was doing, definitely.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I definitely have to see his work and see more of your stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. I know he has. I'm sure he told you this. He's got Payday that's on Amazon right now.
Yep.
That was his last one.
Yep, he told me about that. Payday. He says he has on Amazon, Amazon and YouTube.
Yep.
So I definitely want to check that out. I told him I want to buy the actual. I think he has it on Amazon to buy for the DVD too. I want to get that.
I believe so. Yeah.
Told him the only way I'd get it if he signed it though. He said he would sign it.
Hey, there you go.
Just because like that's another thing with me. Like with any type of film, if I can get it signed by anybody, but especially with the indie films, I say because it's like. You guys did this great movie. Some people, you go up to them with the indie film, so I'll buy them from cons. And, can you sign this? And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, you were in the movie, right? Sign it. Of course I want your autograph. I think it's just great.
Yeah. I know how they feel, though, because I remember back when I got asked the first few times for my autograph, I'm like, what? You want my autograph for what?
You sure?
It's a very odd thing to get used to. It's not a bad thing. It's an awesome thing, but it's just a weird thing to transition into, I think.
Understandable. I believe that. I
Yeah.
definitely believe that. Excuse me again. My God. Is it what's one movie you're looking forward to coming up this year? As far as I'll say the big, the theater releases, 1 or 2 horror movies.
Oh gosh. To be honest, I've been so busy lately. I have not even kept up on what's coming out. I am so bad. I'm so behind on my TV shows and movies now, which kind of upsets me because I was such a huge like TV and movie person. But I mean, it's a good thing to be busy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, I really want to catch up on my shows. So what's coming out this year? Remind me.
Pet Sematary remake, It Chapter 2, that movie called Us, the Jordan Peele movie. I'm trying to think of what else. I know there's more. I believe The Conjuring 3.
Conjuring is awesome. Now, I have seen those, so I will be looking forward to the new Conjuring.
I love those movies.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Do you watch the whole thing from the 2 Conjuring movies, The Nun and the Annabelle 2?
Annabelle, yep, I've seen all of them. So that would so Conjuring 3 would definitely be the one I'm looking forward to. And Pet Sematary, I watched the original one back in the day, so.
Yep. Me too.
Interested to see how they're going to remake that.
I honestly think they'll do a great job. I think they're going to do a great job with it. I think it'll be better than the original, which I know people hate when people say that, but
yeah,
I only say that because I feel like it'll follow the book more. Not, not exactly with the book, but it'll follow it a lot more than what the older one did, which will make it better. Same thing like how Chapter 1 did with the movie.
Right. That's another one I love. That was one I watched when I was younger too, the original one.
Yeah. Did you see the remake?
I did.
What'd you think?
It was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed
loved it. I started reading the book. My brother gave me the book. I started reading it before the movie came out. I was like, this is going to take way too long. I'm not going to have it done in time. So I just got the audiobook of it and listened to that within like 2 weeks and went to that movie. I was like, well, I'm glad I did it like that though, because there was a few things that were in the book that were in the movie that I just realized. I was like, oh wow, that was in the book. That's cool.
Yeah.
I just read this and it was fresh. That was a better part too, because it was fresh in my mind still. Not
Right. And I always love when they make movies out of books because I love to see like, okay, what's going to be different and what's going to be the same.
Same here. I got to start reading more horror books, so I haven't really read a lot. But I need to, change that up now because there's so many. Like The Shining's one I need to read and then revisit that movie.
Right.
Because
that's another good one, yeah.
Yeah, it is. The movie we did that last week, and I had rewatched that movie sometime last week for the first time in years. Mm-hmm. And when I was doing the podcast with people, they're explaining, they're saying things that happened in the movie. I'm like, wait, when did that happen? I just watched this. When did that happen?
I missed that.
But it's one of those movies where like so much stuff's going on at once that you're gonna miss something. You have to rewatch that movie a few times to catch everything.
Yeah.
So Have you been on any other podcasts before?
Yeah, I've done quite a few podcasts, and since Walking Dead. Then again, everything started coming after Walking Dead, the conventions and the interviews and all that good stuff. Which, like I said, I love it, and I love talking about Walking Dead. But I also enjoy that it's such a great place for me to promote my other projects.
Which is great.
And because it's a lot better than just me talking about it on my Facebook all the time, which I do. But as an actor, you know, one of our biggest things we have to do for ourselves is market. So you guys bring such a great thing to us to be able to help us do that.
I try. I even on my Podbean page, I have a page called like Cool Pages to Follow, and like I let people just they'll send me the links and I post their links on there too, just to help get it out there more. So
yeah.
When you get a chance, definitely email me your stuff, and I'll put that up there for you.
Awesome.
Just because, again, I want to see everybody grow with this. And it's not even just horror-related stuff. Like, there's other podcasts on there, people's YouTube channels, whatever. But, you know, they come on. I look at it like you come on here. You help me out by coming on here for an episode. You know, it's the least I can do to help out.
Right. Well, I appreciate it, yeah.
But, yeah, this whole podcasting thing, I'm learning that it's really a good networking tool. I've been learning that within the past year.
Yeah, definitely. Networking has been a huge thing. It's good for podcasting, I'm sure, but it's also good for actors and filmmakers and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've gotten a lot of my auditions just through networking with different people on Facebook or at events or what have you.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna talk to my guy Sam, and that'll be another one. And he's like
that's awesome.
Just starting out, which is great. Like I like I can see big things from that. I really can. Cool.
Yeah, the trailer definitely caught my attention, so I can see it.
Yeah, he sent it to me, and he was like, "Listen, Aaron, I want your honest opinion about this trailer." I watched it. I was just like, "Wow." I was like, "I love it," and I was like, "What makes me like it even more is because I know so much more about the movie than a lot of people, and I see the vision that you were."
So you knew what was going on.
So, and I see. Well, I seen like it's one thing when like you see words on a piece of paper, as you know, and then you see the actual vision of it, and I'm like, this is just way more than I imagined.
Right.
And it's just like it, like he directs. He's the director, the producer. He's acting in it. He's doing. We know he's wearing a bunch of hats. He has a team that's helping him, obviously. But I'm like, you're wearing all these hats, and that's the product that's coming out so far. That's awesome for your first project like this.
Wow, that is good. I know just directing and acting is huge because I've worked with a couple of directors that were also acting in the film, and they say it's like so much to handle and so much to juggle. So that's really good.
Chase actually told me that he did all that. I forgot what movie it was, but he did all that, and he said it was a lot, and now he just wants to direct. But he said he acted and directed in the movie, and all. It wasn't for him. He said.
Yeah, I think one of his first. I can't remember either. One of his first films he did act in.
I gotta find. I think it's Mandy something. I forgot though. I gotta find that one though. But him, I definitely want to see more of his work. I have to see more of your work, especially the independent stuff more than anything. Like, I'm not gonna bash The Walking Dead. I stopped watching it around like season 3 or 4.
Right.
But definitely, I definitely want to see your other things because I'm sure it was some cool ass stuff you did on the screen.
It was fun. The most recent one is Haunting of 4 Points is on Amazon Prime right now.
Okay. I think I watched. I was about to watch the trailer for that, but then I had to come up to record with you. So I'm definitely gonna check that trailer out. And Beast of the Fields, like I said, I seen that trailer and that I was like, I have to see this movie.
I mean, I'm excited to see how that one turns out too.
It's funny because I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, when is this? It's not out yet. I was getting mad. Like, I want to watch this now.
Well, it's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. I love, like, independent horror. I love, and you mentioned how you were doing comedy horror with the other movie. I'm like a sucker for comedy horror movies. I don't know why, because they'll be so cheesy, but just
exactly
gory and funny at the same time, and I love it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We filmed that one kind of on location too. It's kind of a paranormal. Haunting of 4 Points is a paranormal horror comedy type thing.
Nice. Who Now, how did you get involved with that one?
I had worked with one of my very first speaking roles was on a short film, and the guy that was doing the cinematography on that short film was the one that ended up writing and directing a film called Levon, which is a prequel to Haunting of Four Points. So I had a really small role in Levon, and then he decided to base the Haunting of Four Points around my character, so I became the lead character in Haunting of Four Points.
Oh, okay, nice. I was always wondering stuff like how do these, just actors in general, how do you get these roles? Like, how do you know where to go to go for this role?
That was another example of networking, I guess, because like I said, he was doing the cinematography on the one movie, so then, I saw that he was casting for his other movie. I add everybody on Facebook after I meet them in the industry, and you'll see casting calls all over the place. I've got cast in more stuff over Facebook than any other acting casting site. It's funny.
That's real good though. You're using your social media in the right way to help benefit you, what you want to do, instead of just playing around on there. You're doing something with it.
And even my personal page has completely become all about acting and marketing myself. It's not really a personal page anymore.
That's good. It's smart though. It's gonna get you out there, get your name heard, and get you some more roles. Get you a lot of roles.
Yeah, I hope so.
It will. I could tell. You have a good energy about you.
Well, thank you.
Oh man, you have any other questions for me?
I don't think so. How long does it usually take you to post up the interviews after you record them?
That varies because I have to get better at this. I try to send my brother one episode at a time, but that never happens. Was it yesterday? No, earlier this week I sent him 12 episodes.
Oh wow!
But he sent me at least 8 today.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll try to get certain episodes out. Like if I have interviews, I try to get those out as fast as possible. As soon as I get them back, I try to put them right out. Versus my movie reviews, I drop them. I drop them I still drop them, but I'll push them back a little bit just to get the interviews out there some. So
I got you.
Hopefully, not this week coming, but the week after, I can have this one out. But I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Is there anything you want to plug? Do you have anything you want to plug?
Let's see. Well, like I said, Haunting of Four Points is on Amazon Prime. Beasts of the Field is coming out later this year, so we don't really know where yet. It's one of those things, especially with indie film, is we film it, then they edit it, and then they start trying to sell it everywhere. Mm-hmm. So we never know where it's going to be until. I do know that it's going to be released as in some kind of distribution, though.
That's good.
And I filming a comedy right now called Jailhouse Wedding. I play the mother of the bride, and our daughter is kind of decided she has to get married, so they ended up going to the courthouse, and all these crazy things happen. Of course, I can't say, but it's a lot of fun because we're doing it here in North Carolina, so I'm working with a lot of local actors.
Nice.
And local filmmakers and stuff. Mm-hmm. People that I've been friends with ever since I started this. We went to workshops together and acting classes together. So it's a lot of fun to, a couple of years later, come back and see how much these people have grown.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then, I've got a lot of things coming up, but a lot of them are in pre-production and development, so we haven't actually started filming them.
Okay.
I just got cast in a found footage film. I'm going to be doing a cameo. It's called Stringer.
Ooh.
Which I think will be a lot of fun because that'll be the first time I've ever done a found footage film. So, yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I haven't watched a lot of found footage films. Speaking of those, I need to get into more of them. I've still never seen the Blair Witch Project. I don't know why I haven't seen it. I guess it just never piqued my interest when it was when it first came out.
Right.
But now, the more that I get into, with this podcast, and the more I get into horror, I'm I should probably see this movie. It's not gonna have the same effect it would have 20 years ago, but
right. They're so different. I was kind of the same way when I first started watching them. I haven't watched a lot. I've watched a few, but they're so different. I didn't know what to think at first when I started watching it. I'm like, what is this?
Yep, I'm the same.
But once you get past that, they're getting more popular now anyway than they were 20 years ago. So
they definitely are. It's just I don't know. I'm thinking about it now. I'm I wish I would have watched Blair Witch Project 20 years ago just so I can get that feel that everybody got from watching it. Because I feel like if I watch it now, I'm not gonna say I won't like it, but I might not like it. just
right.
because
I see. I know what you're saying.
it's one of those things. I've seen a few found footage films. I can't think of any off the top of my head, and I did enjoy them, but they were more up. They're more up to date and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's a little different going to this one, and I have no idea what happens in the freaking movie. I just know they're in the woods, I think.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's been so long since I've seen it, but they run around in the woods a lot. That's for sure. Yeah. Other than that, I'm doing a series, which I'm really excited about because doing series, you get more work constantly. As an actor, you do a movie, it's over, and then you got to look for work again, pretty much. So. I'm excited to work where it's called Rising to Power, and we're filming it over near Washington, D.C.
Oh, cool.
And it's more of a drama. And of course, this isn't really horror or anything like that, but I play a reoccurring character, so that's always nice to know that I'll be back for more than one episode.
Good. Is that going to be on the TV, or is it going to be on a streaming service, or are you not sure?
That I am not at liberty to discuss yet, because we haven't. They filmed the pilot episode, and my character doesn't come in until episode 2.
Okay.
So we're supposed to starting episode 2 later this year. So it'll probably be, I would assume, next year before we can announce anything, or before it comes out at least. Okay.
Well, that's interesting though. So do you work on multiple projects at once as far as acting?
Sometimes. It really just depends. I'll be cast in quite a few things while they're in pre-production and development, and then it's just a matter of when they decide to film. Okay. I've been lucky so far that everything's worked out to where I've had, a job and then a little bit of time off and then go film again and then have a little more time off. So, but this year I am cast in way more productions than I ever have been. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see if hopefully none of them collide as far as filming dates or anything like that. But, especially if it's not a lead role, you can usually work it out because you may film for a week or less.
Okay.
And be done. Or film for a couple days and come back later, a month later, if it's a series or what have you.
That's cool, though. I was just about to ask. I was like, I wonder how hard it would be if, you got two filming, maybe not the same exact date, but just, around the same time. They're jumping back and forth. But you said that doesn't.
If it was local, it might be okay. But if it was traveling back and forth, I feel like it would be a lot.
I didn't even think of the traveling thing. I was just thinking of just switching from one character to another, but
that would be difficult too.
That's a lot.
You're like, okay, switch to this character now, switch back.
Especially if they're complete opposite. Like, say one you're playing a slasher. You're playing a villain killing people, and then this other one you're playing a hero. Like, what the? Or you're playing somebody that has to be saved. Even you're just like, what? I'm tough on this side, but then this side the complete opposite.
Yeah, exactly. That would be different. I've not experienced that. I have played a lot of different characters, but not close in time together. So I've had plenty of time to kind of work it out.
So what really got you into acting? Is there something you always wanted to do, or?
No, actually, I was working as an accountant, but a few years ago.
Oh wow!
In a car dealership. When I was in college, I saw an ad that they needed extras for One Tree Hill, which filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's about 2 hours from where I live. So I submitted to it on my break from college just as something to do for fun. Went down there, got picked, went down there and worked as an extra. Absolutely fell in love with the entire process of being on set. And that was just, my first time was just me sitting there as like a fan at a sporting event. So I really didn't do a whole lot. But I think I just loved it so much that I wanted to keep doing it. So I started doing extra work in my spare time for like 5 years off and on. And then I finally got to the point where I realized I was not happy with my 9-to-5 accounting job and I wanted to do this acting thing for real. So when I got the chance to stay home with my kids, because my husband started his own business, that's when I started taking the acting classes and started auditioning for the speaking roles and kind of got started in the indie world. And that was into 2014.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. And One Tree Hill was a great show, by the way.
Yes, it was. I loved it. It was one of those shows that I watched it. I was a fan of it, and then I found out I could be on it, so it was like completely awesome for me. That's kind of how it started.
Do you remember what season you were on?
I did One Tree Hill like 6 different times since it was so close to where I live. So seasons 4 and on, kind of off and on, different episodes.
Oh, that's good. That's cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, it was one of those things. and this was back before. Now you can just submit through email, and they go through their email and pick. But I say back in the day, it was like 2009, but you had to fill out a card and mail it to their office with your picture, and then they'd keep you on file. Then they told me I could call like every Monday to see if they had any work for me and that sort of thing. So they don't do that anymore, as far as I know.
So now it's just,
because there's so many more people,
yeah,
like interested in the industry, I guess, or it's easier just to do email.
Is it now with the emails like the same way, just to like send you a picture and kind of fill a questionnaire out, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I know for my area, like Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, there's a website it's on Facebook, and it's a website called the Southern Casting Call.
Okay.
And they post like a whole bunch of extra casting calls. They have a few indie casting calls on there too, but the majority of it's for extras. But yeah, you'll email. Usually they'll ask for like a close-up picture of your face, a body shot, and then like you have to fill out a questionnaire with like your age, height, weight, etc., etc.
Okay.
And that's it. Cool. And you just wait. It's one of those things like you'll either get an email back saying that they want to use you and here's the information, blah, 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 or you just won't ever hear anything. It's kind of the same thing as when I do auditions now. I either don't hear anything or I hear, congratulations, you got the role.
Are those tough to do, auditions?
They can be. I'm getting a lot more. I mean, the more I've done them, the more comfortable. I remember at the beginning I was completely nervous to do auditions, but it's one of those things that depends on the character. Like I just recently did one that was like so intense and so emotional that one was a little hard. I had to take a good 20, 30 minutes before we ever started filming the audition to kind of just get into character. But once you get used to it, it's not bad because it's really just doing a short version of a script, like 2 pages or so.
Okay.
I think the only hard thing is you're not like standing there with somebody acting to their face. You're kind of like looking off of camera, and they might be standing over there, but it's hard to get like
Yeah, really into the emotion.
Yeah, when you're, especially if it's like an intimate scene and you're looking at somebody that's way across the room over by the camera. It's you got to do a lot of pretending more in auditions than you do on set, I guess.
Yeah. Now, with the auditions, like, is it hard to get into that mindset for a certain audition?
It can be, especially it depends on what's going on around you. I think video auditions for me are easier because I can kind of just block everything else out because there's not really anything going on because I have a friend of mine that films them for me. So we'll go to his little studio and it's just me and him and the camera. So that's not too hard. But in-person auditions can sometimes be a little distracting to get into character because sometimes you'll go in, you'll have like a table full of people just staring at you, waiting for you to start your scene.
Do you have like a for those type of auditions? Do you have like a routine that you do beforehand, just like to turn?
Well, I live in a very small town, so anywhere I have to go, whether it's for auditions or filming, I have to drive. So I do music. Mine is like getting in my car and blasting the same type of music as whatever type of emotion I'm trying to get into for that character. That way I'm kind of already in that emotion when I get there.
That's a good answer. I like that answer.
Thank you.
I need to start asking that question more when I get people on here that that act.
Everybody's different. Like I've talked to a few different actors and they won't all tell you the same.
Yeah.
We all have our own little thing. Like I know when I worked on Walking Dead, Andrew Lincoln, to get into character and get really mad, would punch walls and scream really loud. So we're all there. Well, we're all definitely different.
Punch walls and start screaming.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out that at first I was like, what's going on? And everybody was like, oh, that's just Andrew. It's fine. He does that all the time. I was like, oh, okay.
It's funny excuse me. It's funny you say that because Kane Hodder does something similar. Like with his Jason roles, he would like be alone just yelling and hitting things just to get, Jason's a very...
Get worked up, yeah.
Jason's a very violent character, as we all know. So,
right.
He would do that to get into character and all that. I'm just like, that's so freaking... I read it in one of his books. Like, that's so cool. And it is funny, too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those actors, I think they call them method actors, but, like, because I've heard, like, somebody has to have a limp, they'll put a rock in their own shoe when they're walking just so that they actually are limping and stuff.
Nice. I like when people go that extra mile. I think it's real cool.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Do you have any tricks you do like that? Going that extra?
I don't know about tricks, but I've definitely always been the type that is up for anything to make the film look more realistic. Like a couple of one example. I was going to give the example from Beasts of the Field, but I'm not allowed to say that, so never mind. Well, on another film that I did, we had a scene where I was supposed to get shot and fall off of a dock into some water. But we filmed it in January, and so it was freezing cold. So they got the shot all set up, and they were like, we really don't want you to have to get into the water. It's completely frozen. I mean, well, it was the bottom of the lake was frozen. Mm-hmm. And they were like, it's really upsetting because the shot would look so much better if you would fall into the water, but just fall onto the dock. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll go into the water. I don't care. I don't care that it's 20 degrees outside.
Oh, wow.
That was probably one of the crazier things I did because, yeah, it was cold. It was very, very cold.
I bet. I couldn't even imagine trying something like that, honestly. I mean, I guess it's different if you're on set and you really want to make the shot good. But...
Yeah, well, when I heard that, that it would look so much better with that, I was like, let's do what's going to look better.
Yeah, that's a real...
I had to go from the water straight into take a shower to get warmed back up. But
I believe it, because I've jumped, I'm not that brave. I've jumped into the water when it's summer and the water's cold. So I can only imagine.
Right, and you jump right back out.
I can only imagine in January. I'm like, oh, this is a terrible idea. But that's cool, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, there was something, I'll say something similar. Well, you see a little bit of it in the trailer. I don't know if you remember the part where I'm blonde in the film, for anybody that's seen the trailer, but I punched the girl. It's a real quick shot in the film. You can only see it. It's not too long, but if you can see that I'm like soaking wet when we're doing that scene. So I'll just say that was very real. Not the punch, of course.
Yeah.
But we were in the elements, like I said, with the rain, but there was also a creek involved and some other stuff. So.
Oh, I cannot wait.
It was crazy, but it was so much fun.
That's so great.
I know, like with that film, it was so muddy. I would go back to my hotel room after filming and take my boots off, and there was just like mud and creepy, crawly little critters in my boots, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Any other time, I would be like, oh my God, stop, get off me.
No, that's real cool though. Like I like that the way you take these roles. You really put your all into it and just do what you feel like you have to do to make that scene the best shot you can make it.
Right. Oh, definitely. I'm always up for anything that, as long as it's safe, I'm up for 100% anything, pretty much.
That's good. I'm sure directors love that too, but that's good.
Oh yeah, they do.
That's really cool because me, as like a fan of movies and horror movies in general, it's cool to talk to someone who's in these, and then it's cool to figure out like, what goes through their mind when they're doing these movies, and how much they give. They give it their all for these movies. Not someone that's just kind of going on there half-assed. You're good at what you do, but you're kind of going. People that have that talent, but they kind of half-ass it because they can.
Right.
But it's cool, and it makes me respect people a lot more. And like, I go in here, they want me to do this shot like this. I don't have to, but I'm going to do it like this or better because I want this shot to be the best shot ever, which is just amazing.
Well, I wouldn't do it any other way. I know there's plenty of people, like you said, out there that, wouldn't even... There might have been some actors that, if they had been on the set of Beasts of the Field and it started raining the whole time, would have been I'm out. I'm not going to stand in the rain all day. But to me, I'm just like, why are you doing this if you're not going to be in 100%? So
I agree.
There was nobody like that on set, by the way. I just want to make that clear. I was just saying there.
Oh, no, I know.
I know there's people in the industry like that. No, everybody on Beasts of the Field, we had a great time.
That's good.
Despite the weather.
That's really good because you have to take the good with the bad, I guess, when it goes with something like that. You're not always going to be in the sunny days on the beach.
That's right. And Chase was saying the rain actually made for a lot better shots. Like, it looks a lot better with the rain. It adds to the cinematography and everything. So
the more we discuss this movie, the more I want to see it. Chase.
I know we keep going back to Beasts of the Field, but it's the one I got coming out this year, so I'm really excited about it.
That's great. I really hope I get to see you at a Scarecon one of these days.
I hope so.
Awesome. I told Chase the same exact thing.
I can try to reach out to him. I have sent a few emails for this year for some Comic-Con, so I'll see if I can contact him.
I'll try to do what I can on my end too, because I talked to the guy who runs it. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I can talk to him and say, listen, this is some people you need to get out. You need to get more indie people here, and here's a couple.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know that a lot of times too, especially with the conventions, when they have someone else recommend somebody other than me, just saying, "Hey, here I am. I'd like to be a guest
at your con."
Which I do that. It works sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but I know in the past it's helped when either fans or some media people or someone has recommended me.
So, well, I'll definitely tell him. I'll definitely let him know. And yeah, that's cool too, right there. How you'll reach out to a con. Hey, I want to be a part of your con. Like that. To me, that's real humble. Because some people be like, oh well, if they want me, they should come contact me.
Yeah,
But
I'm definitely not like that.
If you want to get yourself out there more, you got to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's how it started for me. Is after Walking Dead, a couple of the conventions did reach out to me and said, we'd like to have you, and that's kind of how it started. And then I enjoyed it so much that I just wanted to keep it going. So when I'm not filming, I kind of try to get out there.
No, that's good though.
Yeah,
that's really good. That just adds on to everything, everything good, positive. But I mean, we can wrap it up now if you want, or if you have more
that's
things.
Fine. I think we've covered pretty much everything.
And you can plug all your stuff again one more time if you want. And when you get a chance, just email me the links, and I'll put them on that page I was telling you about.
Okay, yeah, I can send you an email soon about that. So yeah, you guys, I do have a website. I just put up a website too, so people can check out my website at www.amberdawnfox.com, and it has like all of my upcoming interview and appearance dates. The trailer for Beasts of the Field is up there, and a whole bunch of other clips from some other projects I've done as well. And it talks a little bit about some of my upcoming projects. But Haunting of 4 Points, or The Haunting of 4 Points, I should say, is on Amazon Prime. And that's a horror comedy. Beasts of the Field will be out later this year. That's a horror thriller. Both of those two I had the lead role in. And then I'm filming quite a few things this year that'll be coming out, so keep an eye out. And if they follow me on Facebook, I'm always posting about what's coming out and when and all that good stuff. So
that's cool. And I want to thank you again for coming on the podcast. I greatly appreciate it and would love to have you on again.
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. And thank you for having me.
Anytime. Hopefully we can talk about Beasts of the Field soon. So, Chase, hurry up and get it out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when it comes, I'll definitely come back on when it gets released and everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
And I guess we can wrap it up. Fans, You know where you can find me. Horror with Sir Sturdy. I'm on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher. What else am I on? Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and many other platforms. If you ever want to be on the podcast, send me an email, horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. And again, I want to thank my guests for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on, and hope to see you in a lot of things soon.
Oh, thank you.
And have a good night.
You too.
A good day. Thank you. And as always, I'll see you in your night.